anything Meghan can do, Harry can do better. And that means not supporting each other when their projects go bust. As the fake Duchess comes under increasing criticism for her silence, total radio silence in regards to Centre Barley, now it's Harry who is backing out, according to my sources, of supporting Meghan in trying to promote As Ever, which right now is in deep, deep trouble. So that meant last night she had to go through this mortifying experience of, as Harry, Meghan's spare, put it, dinner for one. Where is H? She keeps dropping hints that she's no longer Harry's ball in chain. Are the rumours true? And as HRH Chelsea added, does Harry ever get home? But of course, there's still the shills. There's still the Sussex squad shills like Narinder Kaur, who saw this rubbish and said the Duchess of Sussex just dropped a new pasta recipe made with homemade lemon preserve. Yummy! Can't wait for her next series to drop. Narinder, I think you're the only one. So P-Dina, we're going to talk all through what is going on with As Ever in just one moment. But first, can we do some running commentary, P-Dina? Let's take a look at this recipe. What did you make of it?
Well, I just think Meghan is putting together things that are simple, easy, try not to be too complicated with things, but she just doesn't, in my personal opinion, whenever I see Meghan do anything, she just comes out as trying really hard and not really somebody who I would really want to take any kind of advice from in terms of cooking anything. She's not a professional chef. She's already had a bug seen in her food. We know how desperate she is. It's just not pleasing to the eye. She just doesn't have that it factor when it comes to preparing food, showcasing food, taking advice, looking at her prepared food. There's nothing appealing about that because, I mean, like her personality, I think it all starts with your brand as a person, who you are, what you're known for. And Meghan doesn't have that backdrop of someone who puts together food in a way that draws people in to want to do what she's doing. I find her very flat. And I really, truly, Dan, do not say that to be mean. It's just that this is a woman that was royalty. She was supposed to be in the royal family. And she didn't accomplish what she was supposed to accomplish. She has yet to accomplish anything significant. And so when you watch her prepare food and try to do this whole branding where she's already made mistakes with the naming of this brand, right? It was American Riviera Orchard. She's made mistakes with, putting up a post where you see a bug in the food. Her brand has already suffered immeasurably. I cannot be drawn into anything that this woman does because of all the mistakes that she has made along the way. And that's just my personal opinion and how I truly feel about Meghan when I watch her drop these posts. It just falls flat for me.
Look, I'm going to be totally honest about this recipe. It is a basic bitch meal prepared by a basic bitch. And no one wants to eat it. It doesn't look appealing. She doesn't want to eat it. She's a drinker. She's not an eater. We already know that. Clearly, this is the precursor to lemon preserve. I personally am not into lemon in pasta. I'm sure some people are. But as I say, this is a very, very basic bitch recipe. What about the fact, P-Dina, that there's this increasing pressure to both sides of the couple, actually, the warring couple, to support one another in what is clearly a very difficult time? I think people really took notice of this when Meghan said absolutely nothing, or didn't even give any type of hint or brief to her favourite members of the press, and we know there's many of them now, backing Harry over Centre Barley.
Reports, and a lot of fan chatter, are piling up that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are in a fresh standoff, refusing to cover each other even when the cameras are rolling. For a couple whose entire value proposition has been togetherness, that's a blazing red flag. To be clear, this is alleged, but the pattern people are pointing to is hard to miss. Separate appearances, separate messaging, and conspicuous silence when the other is taking heat, that isn't partnership. It reads like divergence.
Well, doesn't it just speak to Megan's overall personality and how she feels about her husband? I think she says a lot by saying absolutely nothing. Megan wants support. She always seems to have Harry at her side. But when Harry needs support, she's no longer around to say anything. And so to me, it just shows this is not an equally shared marriage of purpose. Megan has her own purpose in life, what she wants to do, and Harry is simply out on his own trying to do what he's trying to do. And so it just speaks to Megan's character. We expect her to not be there for her husband. She hasn't been around for anybody. I mean, she's only out to self-serve her own interests. That is clear. And I think that is the message that she has given everyone. And hey, Megan is just what we always known her to be, a very selfish, one-sided person who only is thinking about herself.
I wanted to show you what Royal News Network said about this video, because Britney's been on at this for a long time, believing that Meghan is so cocky because of this scarcity strategy, which up until now has worked, but now all of a sudden she cannot sell out the product. And so she's been urging Meghan to get more involved. This is what she said. More evidence Meghan Markle listens to RNN. I've been saying for months that Meghan needs to be cooking on Instagram more and trying to emulate Gwyneth Paltrow's boyfriend breakfast a bit. Look like she's actually is in the kitchen from time to time and does cook for her family. And look, she's attempting to do just that. I mean, she's selling Happy Homemaker, so she should put at least a quarter of effort into actually proving her own fake narrative. While the meal appears to be for one, what about Harry? And her rosé still hasn't passed her lips, a crime against marketing. We're perhaps seeing some microscopic progression into something resembling a social media marketing strategy. But now comes the tough part. Meghan's going to have to work. We should have videos like this at least once a week. And Meghan showing off more of her Happy Homemaker life. Did she or an assistant preserve the lemons? Of course, if this is all just fake and Meghan isn't really a happy homemaker and gets takeout frequently, then this is just as pointless as the rest of Meghan's Instagram. Is she still in her concert era? Is she a happy homemaker? Is she a crazy lady who chases a mama duck and her babies? Who knows? As I'm sure Meghan doesn't know what she wants to be when she grows up yet either. She just wants millions of dollars for doing the bare minimum and all of us endless praising the brilliance of her mediocrity. Now, I think there are some really fair points there, but I do think Britney in a way answers her own question, because the problem is, P-Dina, this is fake. And we know that the reason that Gwyneth Paltrow and Martha Stewart exploded was because they were homemakers first. They had a huge passion for what they did first. Again, I repeat, Meghan doesn't enjoy eating. She doesn't enjoy the process, and it's so obvious. So this is the problem. It is fake, and maybe she'll do more of it, but it's still no more convincing.
Yeah, when I look at Meghan do all these things, and then to the points of Britney, Meghan's intrigue or anything that we would want to see, she doesn't want to do. And those are places and things that she just doesn't want to do because she's too vulnerable. But I think for Meghan to be successful, she has to be vulnerable. She has to do these things that maybe make her feel a little bit uncomfortable, because it's behind the wall of royalty that we all are intrigued with. So she could show a little bit of her life as someone who is married to a prince, the daily life of taking care of your children, what it took to prepare the things that are in your garden to now cook with, like a little bit more of an intimate look at the preparations of just regular everyday life since moving on from royalty. And I think she's trying to put up this facade that, like you said, it feels very fake. It doesn't feel authentic. And so it's difficult for people to take hold of what she's trying to sell, because there's just no connection there to what actually intrigues us to actually watch her. And it would behoove Meghan to drop the veil and to do things that are more intimate in scope. But, I think she just wants to be so fake with everything. She can't really show that side of her. And that's why I think she will never have the success from the things that she is doing. because it will always continually fall flat to what the expectation is from her.
Now,
Absolutely.
according to Taz has a theory, by the way, P-Dina, I want to share this with you. She writes, I'm so bored of Meghan's Instagram post being in my X feed, so I apologize to you guys, but I need to comment. Meghan was making lemon and garlic pasta, yet she showed her pickled pickles, which had nothing to do with the recipe. It has everything to do with Pamela Anderson's collaboration with Flamingo Estate, who Meghan tried to become partners with, but they refused. We see you. So do you think there's potentially some gamesmanship going on here with Meghan trying to get one back at Pamela Anderson and the Flamingo Estate?
What's fueling the buzz? Insiders claim Meghan is livid. Harry didn't step in to steady her latest PR wobble, while Harry reportedly feels Meghan is leaving him exposed on his legal fights and lingering family battles. For Meghan, public optics are currency. If he's not at her side or visibly defending her, it's embarrassing and brand denting. Flip it. And Harry's camp feels abandoned too. The guy who torched bridges with his family and country now sensing he's out on a limb, alone. The irony writes itself. None of this is a court filing. It's reading tea leaves, but the silence in each other's moments of pressure is loud.
Yeah, I could read something into that, absolutely, because see, Meghan is the kind of person where she's not doing it for the love of it and for the the authentic reasons that one may do these kinds of things. She's doing it for competition. She's doing it to get a leg up. She's doing it to try to, take jabs at people. Absolutely, because that is Meghan's character. And she wouldn't always fall so flat on the things that she's doing if it were authentic and came from a true place of where her love is. And so because it's not her love of doing these things, this is why it looks like she's doing it for these reasons to compete with people. And people that love this, like Gwyneth, Martha, these are things that they have, the passion is in their bones. That this is like they're in their DNA. Like they do this because they love it. Meghan does it for competition, for artificial reasons, because that's like everything that she has done in her whole life. This is how she operates. So of course it would make sense that her preparation, the things that she's doing with her ass ever, is going to come from that standpoint. So it makes sense. And this is, I think, the point why people feel like they can't connect to her, because the authenticity of this woman is not there. And she thinks that she's able to grasp us into her little world of creation, but it's going on something that doesn't connect with people. I mean, she's always competing with people, trying to leg up on somebody. She's done it with the royal family, and these are not things that we are watching her for. And this is why it falls flat for us, And so, yeah, Meghan, I think she's truly, truly lost in every single thing that she is doing. I mean, it is astounding to me that this woman hasn't been able to make a mark with all the opportunity that she had been given from being in the royal family. She still has yet to do anything successfully. That says a lot. That says that what can you do that will make people really want to, I guess, purchase from you, like you, watch you in a way that is good. I mean, I think most of the things that we talk about are not good for Meghan. And she has to contemplate, well, why? Why is that? I don't understand this woman. She just keeps failing.
Well, P-Dina, things are actually a lot worse, I think, than the mainstream media are letting on. Because I want to go into this revelation from Rob Shooter with you. And remember, he was the one who broke the news of the Netflix deal coming to an end. So he definitely has insiders there. And he actually says the entire As Ever brand is now teetering on collapse because it's out of cash with bills unpaid. He says her dream lifestyle empire is spiraling into chaos, running out of cash, drowning in debt, facing lawsuit from unpaid vendors. One insider telling him it's a disaster, no leadership and no direction, no money, vendors haven't been paid in months. He goes on to say, weak strategy and ballooning costs is what has turned it into a money pit. a former consultant revealing, this is interesting, P-Dina, they blew millions on PR without securing supply chains. It's business 101, and they skipped it. He says production has ground to a halt, investors have gone cold, and even Meghan's name has become a liability. Every misstep gets magnified. Unless she secures a last-minute lifeline, the brand could fold within months. This isn't just rocky, one insider says. It's already sinking. Now, I think this is fascinating detail, P-Dina, because what it points to is the fact that she was so wrong to never appoint a co-chief executive to work alongside her because she thought she could just do it. And she is so massively out of her depth. Now, I guess where I slightly disagree is I don't think she will let this fold. I think she's got money in the bank to keep pumping in, but it is clearly running at a loss. And this reminds me of Victoria Beckham's fashion business in the early days, when for years and years and years, it ran at a massive loss, which was effectively paid for by David Beckham. It is a vanity project, P-Dina.
Here's the business reality Hollywood cares about. The Sussex package sells better than 2 solo acts with uneven Q scores. Together, they pitch a narrative and a built-in audience. Apart, or simply appearing emotionally unaligned, they look like volatility, and volatile talent makes executives nervous. If Meghan's chasing lifestyle plays and endorsements while Harry is mired in litigation and legacy fights, and neither is publicly boosting the other, it screams instability to streamers, sponsors, and partners. That dents leverage, lowers fees, and shrinks the slate. In other words, if the Unity premium vanishes, the deals do too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to also think about how Meghan operates in terms of her immediate success. I think she feels like she has paid her dues for so long as a struggling actress. And she feels that perhaps, I've married a prince. I'm known by so many people. I was so loved. Everyone, knew my name. And I think she personally feels like she should just immediately now be successful with this brand because of her past. And it's just not working that way. I mean, why would it? You have to pay your dues. Again, I mean, you are starting something over. You are not doing what your passion has always been. And so, yes, Meghan has always tried to, I think, get immediate success. She feels entitled to the success. She doesn't have to wait around for anything. And I think, like to Beckham, she had her husband to help her when it was running at a loss for so many years. I mean, this takes massive investment. It takes time. It takes commitment. And I think Meghan is just too rush with trying to have immediate success and to make this money so she can live this life because, hey, look, she's paid her dues. She's married the prince. It's time to live the life that I want to live now. But that's just not how it's going to work, nor should it. Show yourself to be a hard worker, build from the ground up, listen to the people that know what they're talking about, and perhaps maybe then you'll have success. But Meghan doesn't want to do these things. She wants to be the one calling all the shots. I think she has an expectation there that she's not going to get, especially not now in this age with social media. And so there's just a lot of accountability or things that Meghan needs to do that she's just not willing to do. And she's going to see herself fail at it. And I think the only way to find success truly is to humble yourself. Come from a place of humility and don't feel like you have this expectation. I mean, we could tell by how she lived within the royal family. She had an expectation of getting paid for doing walkabouts, right? I mean, she does not want to do
revealed by Valentine Lowe, of course. That's what she was saying during that failed tour to Australia. How can I not be being paid for this?
Yeah. And just like when she was in with the women that were wanting to show their wares to her, and she just didn't have the time to wait around to watch these women. I forget where it was, where she, it was in Australia, I think, or not Australia.
Fiji.
Fiji, yes, Fiji. She did not want to wait around to watch. I mean, these women were working really hard trying to
Yes.
show their worth to her. She didn't have the time for that. I mean, this just speaks to her personality, right? So I think this is the exact expectation that she has now for her brand as ever now. She wants immediate success. There's no time to build anything. And this is going to be her downfall because that does not come to anybody. You have, even if you have a name like Victoria Beckham, who was a Spice Girl, she had to pay her dues. She had a lot of time that she had to work to get her brand to where it is now. Megan doesn't want to do that. So we're literally in real time watching this woman uh, just go completely down, down, down. She won't accept it, like you said, but we're watching a failure try to keep working to keep herself going and going. Look, it's just not going to work.
And then it's also been another disastrous week for Prince Harry, P-Dina, because that ludicrous PR stunt where he tried to invoke the memory of his grandfather, who he treated so terribly in the days before his death, the late Duke of Edinburgh, or then Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. And this story was leaked to GB News, of course, and that weird guy, Cameron Walker, who's best mates with that odd little bloke Omid Scobie, trying to take on that role now. Very weird that he's doing it within GB News, but I'll talk more about that another time. But Harry has been exposed now, P-Dina, because the Scotland Far East Prisoner of War organisation went public in response to all of this boasting from GB News about this quote-unquote exclusive, and wrote, yet when we contacted Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, over the rare service that took place for a prisoner of war under Japan in World War II, buried in a cemetery in Sussex, in a communal grave for almost 40 years, we wrote and told him of the extraordinary story of this prisoner of war. Never to this day have we had a response. And Jen Carlson-Taylor responded to that, saying everything Harry does is for media attention, to take aim against his family, to play victim again, to feed his massive ego. Why did he ignore the Scotland Far East Prisoners of War Trust? And of course, shame on GB News too, because they're meant to be the broadcaster that cares about the veterans. Yet, of course, they ignored this story because they had their nice little exclusive from Prince Harry.
This is the inflection point. Either they stage a visible reset, joint appearances, mutual amplification, shared language, or the drift becomes the story and the story becomes the brand. And when that happens, the question shifts from are they splitting to when do they formalize the distance? Because if they can't or won't stand united in public, the empire doesn't just erode, it detonates.
Yeah. You know, Harry is desperate. I think he is really trying to get people to see what he has in his head. And I think he's scared. I think he is in a position now where he will do anything to try to, make himself to be someone that needs to be, feel sorry for him. He is so pathetic. I mean, why would you do this? And his mother, God loved Diana. I mean, she did things without needing attention. She did it because that was in her heart to do. But Harry has come to a point now where he can't even do things for the right reason. It really speaks to the damage that this woman, Meghan, has caused him. I truly believe that Harry has suffered so much behind this wife of his, that his trauma is so bad that he has to do these little stunts to get some kind of support for his ego, because what else can he do? He is a fallen man, and he can't even fall in line to the legacy of his late mother to do things the way she would have done them and to be well received. I mean, you really have to look at this man as somebody who has really married truly the wrong woman, because to have so much and to now fall like this, I mean, it's pathetic to watch him do this little stunt. It's like, we see you, Harry. Don't you get it? Don't you understand that people are not stupid? This is how ignorant he is to the world and how it works, that he thinks he could do this and people will fall for it. It is unbelievable to me. And Megan, she doesn't care. She's trying to do what she's trying to do. Harry, at some point, somebody needs to come rescue this man from his stupidity, okay? Because it's an emergency at this point for you, Harry. It is an emergency.
It really is. It really is an emergency. But it doesn't end there, P-Dina, because there's also now, according to Paula Frolic of News Nation, a revolt within the Invictus Games. So it's like he's already destroyed Centre Ballet. African Parks is a total disaster. And now the Invictus Games in trouble. And a lot of this, P-Dina, is, do you remember earlier this year, Meghan just hijacked the whole event. And a lot of the organizers and the competitors were like, we don't want to be part of the sideshow. Now, they sent her home early. Do you remember that? She was absolutely furious about it. But I feel like it's almost too little too late. Here's the reporting on what's going on from Paula Frolic on News Nation. She tries to be fair to Harry, but you can read between the lines. But he's not really wanting to dedicate his life to charity, is he, P-Dina? Because if he were to have done that, he would have stayed within the royal family.
Yes, he would have stayed and done what he was actually born to do. And to her point, though, he wasn't cleared of bullying. That was just one of the things they didn't investigate. So that is still on the table, I think.
It's ongoing.
Yeah, ongoing. Yeah. So yeah, for Harry, he was born to do this charity work, to give back. But he hasn't lived up to the things that he was supposed to do. And now his wife has swooped in and has taken this man and has used his title and his name recognition to try to commercialize these things. And so I think Harry is in a position now where he is not really sure how he's going to move forward with his life in general, let alone supporting any charity work. I mean, he needs to go get his life together before trying to help other people in their life, because he's just making a disaster of everything that he touches, because Meghan has her grimy little paws on everything and influence, and Harry is just, I think, a mess from it all. And so he will never find any kind of purpose for what he is trying to do, because he's not doing it from an authentic place. He's got this wife who is just come in with her issues and just wrecked everything for him. And Harry, I think, is in a position now where the only place that he can really go from here is down, I think, even mentally, because everything is going to keep falling for him in his professional life. And that's what we've seen from the other charities that he's been attached to, and what's going to happen with Invictus, because they see it. I mean, imagine what he has done with Centabali and African Parks. Like, of course, there's just not good things happening with Invictus right now. And that's, I think, is going to be the last straw. And then what happens with Harry and his whole life, his purpose, his meaning. I mean, everything has just gone not in a good way for him. At some point, he will have to wake up out of his stupidness, I always say. Because it's bad. It's really bad for him now.
Your take. Is this the beginning of the end, or just another Sussex spectacle to juice headlines? Drop a comment, hit like if you're watching the same signals, and subscribe for more no-filter royal coverage.